last month I spent 2 weeks in Kerala, and I reread your chapter on toddy shops on the flight, uh, because I was very, very excited to eat on the toddy shops. Before I read your chapter, and I mean, before I knew anything about toddy shops, I thought they're like very shady, dark moonshine drinking parlors with very questionable food. But I was wrong. For our listeners who don't know anything about toddy shops, how would you describe them?
Well, I mean, palm toddy, which you brew from coconut trees in Kerala, is the kind of drink that you brew in the morning, and when it's freshly tapped in the morning, it's very light, very mildly, if at all, alcoholic. But then it kind of ferments slowly by itself through the course of the day. So by the evening, it has quite a kick. And of course, if you keep it for a couple of days, it gets properly potent. And this is sort of Kerala's homegrown alcoholic. And it is served primarily in these toddy shops, which are there across the length and breadth of the state, on highways and small villages, sometimes in the cities themselves. Also, they're not the authentic kind, not the old kind. And they're essentially bars, and you can go there in the morning and have one glass of non-alcoholic toddy and eat some breakfast, or you can go in the afternoon and sort of eat a lunch and have some toddy, or you can go in the evening and drink with your friends. And for the most part, for the longest time, these shops were entirely the preserve of men, as bars have tended to be across countries for many centuries. And, you know, everybody complains about, perhaps rightly, about the gentrification of some of these old institutions. But one of the advantages of gentrifying the toddy shop has been that now women can go to some of them as well. So they are much more women-friendly. They're more brightly lit. There are places to sit that aren't just like counters on the edge of the shop. There are proper chairs and tables. And somebody has suggested to me that I go eat in these places because that's where, you know, of course, many of these shops are on the backwaters in Kerala, and so fish is fresh. And so very often you're eating not only the toddy that has been tapped, you're not only drinking the toddy tapped that morning, but also eating the fish caught that morning as well. So it's really sort of quintessential Kerala, you know, in a single week. And I thought that was a great idea. So my chapter, as you pointed out, is just about my wanders through these toddy shops, eating and drinking.
What fascinated me about toddy shops is that the food is not just average food you consume with alcohol at a bar. It is actually some of the best food I had in Kerala. That was at toddy shops, and this includes, and you've written about this, curry mean polisha too. There's all kinds of meat available in a toddy shop. There's pork, there's beef, there is I'm forgetting the other meat. There was quail, there was duck, and I haven't seen such variety in fancy restaurants in Delhi. So, and the food was from somebody coming from a large city. The food was obnoxiously priced, obnoxiously in the sense that it was so cheap for me. I think it's the best bang for buck food I've ever had, honestly. And the toddy that you're mentioning, I don't consume alcohol, but the toddy in the morning was light enough for even me to consume it, and it was very tasty. And you've written about how the food is so spicy that you have to order more toddy to actually wash it down. Another interesting thing that I did at the toddy shops that I went to, and my favorite was a Nettur toddy shop on the outskirts of Kochi. I had conversations with the owners without us knowing each other's language. They just knew keywords, and I had 15-minute conversations with them based on those keywords. Like they would just say pork, toddy, beer bottle, and because they were kept in beer bottles. And we just had conversations for 15 minutes without them understanding English, Hindi, apart from keywords, and without me understanding Malayalam. It was fascinating now that I think about it.